Well, hello and welcome. Welcome to Majesty Sussex Report. I'm Antonio, and it's my absolute pleasure and honor to have you join us on today's podcast. Thank you for spending some of your free time with us. I hope you will enjoy today's podcast. Today we are actually summarizing and having a little bit of a commentary on chapter 3 of Omid's book Endgame. And right as I was about to post all of this up onto YouTube, I saw that there was a little bit of a commotion. My spidey senses, which I don't have, but somehow I sensed something, and it was this wonderful picture, photograph that was posted of just stunningly beautiful, elegant, and just gorgeousness from top to bottom. The Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, and she was interviewing David Oyelowo and Misan Harriman. I don't know if, well, of course I don't know, but have any of you, and I'm sure some of you have, watched the short that Misan Harriman did with David Oyelowo? Let me tell you, I watched it. I wasn't expecting, I thought it might have some stuff happen, some strategy, some tragedy. I can't speak, eh? But what happened when it happens, I must have had my mouth open and my eyes bulging for like, I don't know for how long. And then I just started crying nonstop. It's such a powerful short. And you know what? I think I'll bring it into our podcast space and have a discussion on it. Because it signifies so much. Okay, so let's talk about this picture. So this actually happened about under a month or so. It is said that the interview happened in a private residence in Montecito. Well, it's not Meghan's and Harry's home. I'm assuming it's not, because it said in a private residence in Montecito. And it's a conversation at Netflix event for the After, which is the short name of the short, with David Oyelowo and Misan Harriman. And I mean, you can see Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, just intensely looking at Misan, and whatever he's saying, I'm sure it is profound, I'm sure it is moving, and I'm sure probably it's talking about the human condition and where we're at, or where we are heading. So just absolutely gorgeous pictures, and so great to have it. So without me talking anymore, let's get it on. Chapter 3. Oh God, I hate this. King Charles Premier, from Endgame by Omid Scobie. This chapter opens with a reflection on King Charles III, temperament and challenges in transitioning from prince to king. On September 13th, 2022, 5 days after Queen Elizabeth II's passing, King Charles attended a memorial service in Belfast St. Anne's Cathedral. The chapter describes Charles' visit to Hillsborough Castle, painting a picture of a scenic beauty and historic significance of the location. However, the focus shifts to King Charles' struggles with adapting to his new role. Two incidents are highlighted where Charles displays frustration publicly. Once with a malfunctioning pen, and another during his Ascension Proclamation ceremony. These incidents, caught on camera, went viral and sparked discussions about his suitability for the role. The chapter contrasts Charles' reactions with the expected composure and dignity of a monarch, especially given his mother's reputation for grace under pressure. The narrative then delves into King Charles' relationship with the media and public perception. It notes how quick-tempered and minor public displays of irritation have led to a perception of him as ill-prepared for kingship. This stands in stark contrast to the image of stoic stability that the monarchy traditionally upholds. The chapter also touches upon the challenges of modernization and modernizing the monarchy in the age of social media, where every action is scrutinized and can quickly become a trending topic. It suggests that King Charles and the institution have yet to fully grasp the impact of their public persona in the digital age. So this sets the tone for the chapter, focusing on King Charles III, early days as monarch, and the challenges he faces in living up to the legacy of his mother while adapting to the expectations of modern king. In the chapter, we learn about the challenges King Charles III faces in balancing his personal passions with the responsibilities and limitations of his new role as monarch. The narrative focuses on a significant incident in late October 2022, where Prime Minister Liz Truss requests that Charles refrain from attending the COP27 conference, an important climate change conference for him, and I would say for the world. This request was upheld by her successor, Rishi Sunak, who also advised Charles not to attend. King Charles, known for his long-standing and passionate advocacy for environmental causes, found this restriction frustrating. As a compromise, he was permitted to host a pre-conference reception at Buckingham Palace. This decision to sideline Charles from a cause deeply important to him highlights the transition he must undergo from an active campaigner to a more ceremonial figurehead, adhering to government-approved positions. The chapter also touches on Charles' vision for a slimmed-down monarchy. Contrasting with the government's desire for a grand coronation, in the face of Britain's economic challenges and public crisis, Charles initially intended a modest coronation ceremony. However, Prime Minister Sunak and the government favored a more traditional, grandiose approach to bolster national morale and Britain's image. Ultimately, the government view prevailed, and plans for a full-scale coronations were confirmed. The chapter also, it tends to portray the monarch coming to terms with his limitations and expectations of his new position, and the political realities that shape his actions and his public image. Now, the impact of Harry and Meghan documentary series on King Charles III reign. The release of the series by Netflix in December 2022 created a media frenzy that overshadowed Charles' activities and initiatives. Despite Charles' desire for a wall of silence within his court about the series, it was evident that the documentary greatly affected him. The documentary's release coincided with Charles' donation to the Felix Project, a charity for redirecting surplus food which received little attention due to the overwhelming focus on Harry and Meghan's revelations. The situation was further exacerbated by the second part of the documentary series, which detailed the couple's experience of institutional gaslighting and leaks to the press from within the royal family. These revelations grabbed global headlines, overshadowing Charles' engagements and initiatives. Despite Buckingham's Palace and Kensington Palace silence on the matter, preferring to communicate through anonymous sources to the media, the lack of official response didn't favor King Charles. This silence allowed the media and public narrative to be dominated by the Sussexes, claims without counter arguments from the monarchy. During this period, King Charles III continued his royal duties, including attending a Christmas carol service and an anti-hate crime meeting at the Jewish Community Security Trust. However, these events received minimum media attention in the wake of the Sussexes documentary. The chapter emphasizes the stark contrast between Charles' attempts to carry on with royal duties and the overshadowing impact of the Netflix series. It discusses the anticipation of the release of Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, and its potential ramifications for the royal family. There was a sense of apprehension within the family, with a cautious approach towards Harry, particularly about whether he would attend Charles' coronation. The chapter sort of comes to or heads towards an end on a note of uncertainty about the future relationship between Charles and Harry, and the potential impact of Harry's forthcoming revelations in Spare. The chapter then details the aftermath of Prince Harry's interviews with Tom Bradley and Anderson Cooper, and the release of his memoir, Spare. The royal family, particularly King Charles III, maintained silence on these public disclosures, choosing not to comment even when asked for interview footage in advance. Following the release of Spare, Buckingham Palace, through the Keeper of the Privy Purse, informed Harry and Meghan that they needed to vacate Frogmore Cottage, their UK residence. This decision surprised the couple, especially since they had fully paid for the renovations and secured a lease for the future. Moreover, staying at Frogmore Cottage offered safety for the family, surrounded by armed guards on the Windsor estate. Harry's conversation with King Charles about the decision to revoke Frogmore Cottage was described as disheartening. Charles' response did not offer much hope, and Michael John Stevens later confirmed that Harry would have until early June to clear out the residence. Adding to the shock, it was revealed that Charles had offered Frogmore Cottage to Prince Andrew, his brother, who had been living at the nearby Royal Lodge for 2 decades under a heavily discounted lease. In this chapter, the book suggests that while the decision to evict Harry and Meghan from Frogmore Cottage was part of Charles' broader plan to streamline the monarchy and reduce privileges for non-working royals, it also appeared punitive and indicative of a strained father-son relationship. This action was perceived as petty by some media commentators, including former BBC royal correspondent Peter Hunt, who criticized Charles for diminishing his own standing by appearing to punish his son. In contrast, Charles' handling of Prince Andrew, who continued to enjoy royal privileges despite his controversies, highlighted a disparity in the king's treatment of his son and brother. Andrew, taking advantage of his brother's leniency, reportedly turned down the offer to move to Frogmore Cottage, further complicating the family's dynamic. This situation underscores the challenges Charles faced in balancing personal relationships and institutional responsibilities as the new monarch. The chapter highlights a significant event in March 2023, where Prince Andrew, despite his public disgrace, participated in a service for the Royal Victoria Order at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. His appearance in ceremonial royal attire raised questions about King Charles' judgment and approach to his brother's public role. Critics, including politician Norman Baker, expressed disapproval, suggesting Andrew should remain a low profile due to his controversial past. Further complicating Charles' reign was his meeting with Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, coinciding with the signing of a new post-Brexit trade deal, the Windsor Framework. This meeting sparked controversy as it was perceived as the monarch delving into political matters, a move contrary to the expected neutrality of the royal position. Both government and palace officials remained unclear about who initiated this meeting, further blurring the lines between the monarchy and political affairs. Amidst these challenges, including being overshadowed by Prince Harry's activities and the global attention on the Sussexes, Netflix series King Charles planned his first international trip as monarch. Originally intended to include France and Germany, the trip was adjusted due to anti-government protests in France, leaving only Germany on the itinerary. Despite the setback and controversies, including Prince Harry's legal battle dominating the media, King Charles proceeded with the trip to Germany. The visit included a welcome at the Brandenburg Gate by the German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, making a significant diplomatic gesture. The chapter goes on to underscores the challenges King Charles faced in establishing his reign and navigating the delicate balance between traditional royal duties and the evolving expectations of a modern monarchy. The chapter highlights King Charles III's successful diplomatic visit to Germany. During this trip, he achieved a significant first for a British monarch by addressing the Bundestag, the German parliament. His speech, delivered eloquently in both English and German, underscored the importance of maintaining strong British-German partnership, especially in the context of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and Germany's response. This address was well received and praised for its political acumen and depth. The visit also included a poignant stop in Hansburg, a city heavily bombed in World War II by the Royal Air Force. Charles and Camilla, accompanied by German President Frank Walter Steinmeier, laid a wreath at St. Nikolai Church in remembrance of war victims, a gesture acknowledging the shared history and reconciliation. The success of this strip, widely covered and hailed positively by both German and British media, marked a stark contrast to the challenges Charles faced at home. It showcased his strength in foreign diplomacy and his ability to present a commanding and unifying figure on the international stage. However, the chaplain notes that future international engagements might be shorter due to the advice from doctors considering the ages of both Charles and Camilla. Upon returning to the UK, Charles faced a new challenge. He participated in the traditional Maundy-Thursday service, continuing the tradition of distributing specially minted silver coins to senior citizens, a custom dating back to the reign of King John. However, this event was overshadowed by other issues, showing the complex nature of his new role as monarch. At the engagement in York, an anti-monarchy protester threw eggs at Charles and Camilla, narrowly missing them. This incident highlights the divided public opinion about the monarchy. Days later, during the Easter Sunday service at Windsor, St. George's Chapel, Prince Andrew's prominent presence near King Charles caused a stir. This event underscored the king's willingness to maintain traditional royal customs and practices, despite potential public disapproval. The narrative suggests that King Charles, having waited long for the throne, is now making decisions as he sees fit, even if they might not align with public expectations or the evolving image of the monarchy. Where to start? I am not quite sure where, honestly. Watching those headlines come in and thinking, what are they thinking? Like, do they not, or maybe they actually do and don't care? It is, it's something, eh? It's something. Okay, let's I'm going to do my commentary on Endgame, and then I'll think about whether to have an opinion or to have a comment, rather, because I already have an opinion, but have a comment on the no comment section. Endgame offers a nuanced view of King Charles III's early days as monarch, underscoring the delicate balance between a personal disposition and public perception. The chapter reveals Charles' struggle to step out of the long shadow cast by his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, and the challenge of maintaining the dignity and decorum expected of a king while managing personal frustrations and family dynamics. The incident of the leaky pen and the hastiness at the signing ceremony are symbolic of Charles' struggle to adjust to the expectations of his new role. These moments reflect not only on the personal challenges Charles faces, but also highlights the broader challenges of modernizing the monarchy in an era of intense media scrutiny and public skepticism. The chapter also delves into the complexities of the royal family relationships, particularly Charles' interaction with Prince Harry and Prince Andrew, the contrasting ways in which Charles deals with his son and his brother reflects the intricate and often contradictory nature of royal family dynamics, where personal feelings, public opinion, and institutional expectations often collide. Overall, the chapter paints a picture of a monarch at a crossroads, caught between the desire for modernization and modernizing the monarchy and the need to uphold traditions. It underscores the challenges faced by the royal family in adapting to contemporary societal expectations while maintaining their historical and ceremonial roles. Charles' reign, as depicted in this chapter, is a tightrope walk between personal inclination and public duty, highlighting the ongoing evolution of the British monarch in the 21st century. The idea, I mean, it's not what is stated in the chapter, but the idea that was circulated at one point, or what was seen as statement from King Charles, that what his son had done was worse than what Prince Andrew had done, his brother. To him, allegedly, betraying the crown, going outside of the crown, and letting people know about your experience. That's greater than someone allegedly doing something to someone who is not of a certain age legally. It is just an absolute horribilis. And this whole thing now that 24 hours before the court rules, there is a public letter written basically saying to the king, you should rein your boy in, allegedly. Or, when you are a monarch and you are the head of state of a country, and you have the press threatening you, you have people who feel that they can just write, come on. What kind of king are you? Are you the king who's going to do as As when your son came to you and said, well, we should do something about it. Oh, no, we can't do anything, my dear son. We can't at all. We can't do anything. No, you're not there. Come on. Grow some freaking, you know what? That's your son. You're the head of state of a freaking country and the Commonwealth, for heaven's sake. Are you going to let your reign go down as a pathetic one? Because that's where it's heading, sir. Oh, this is just infuriating. Well, I think I need to end right now before I get any more out of my normal self. I can't stand when something is unfair. I can't stand injustice. Oh boy, the world is upside down. It completely is. Well, I'm calming myself down. And I'm going to end it by saying thank you. Thank you for your wonderfulness. Thank you for the recommendations of lemon tea or lemon with some brandy and whiskey and all of that. Trust me, I have. I have. I used to go to restaurants when I was sick, or if I had to go when I was at a restaurant, and I would be like, "Oh, can I have lemon tea, please, with honey and a shot of brandy?" And then they would say, "Can we see your ID?" and I'm usually, I was like, it's a homemade remedy for colds, and they're like, "Yeah, can we see your ID, please?" I wasn't of age. But when I got home, I was able to have my own homemade remedy. So thank you all. Thank you so very much. And there are times, I must say, that I get into a discussion with people in general, whether they're close to me or not. And if I am able to sense that it's a conversation, I usually take that leap and have that conversation because I think it's important for us to have dialogue always. But I take all of your recommendations very, very at heart. And I may agree, because I have seen how when someone tries to point out the obvious to some people, it goes nowhere. And what it does is that you, the person trying to bring the light and show the light, end up getting frustrated and all of that. And that's not my purpose, right? On this channel, or what I want my purpose to be. So I take all of your recommendations to heart and your comments to heart. I thank you so much for your continued support, and be kind to yourself, because I'm going to be doing all my best to be kind to myself, especially today. It's been a rough day today, but be kind to yourself. We need it more than ever. We owe ourselves that, to be kind to ourselves. Be kind to our loved ones. It's never, never enough. It never is. So be kind to them. And to the strangers we meet or along our path, and sometimes it can be challenging or not. Maybe we can just be kind and then carry on. But be kind. I thank you so very much. And until we speak again.